News Central now at this hour begins in northern Nigeria, where the ancient city of Kano is currently tensed as rival supporters of the Emir of Kano, Lamido Sanusi, and his deposed predecessor, Aminu Ado Bayero, thronged the streets of Kano, reportedly with dangerous weapons. This is coming hours after Governor Abba Yusuf led reinstated Emir Muhammadu Sanusi II into his official palace, and after the Nigerian police and other security agents in Kano declared the deposed Emir Aminu Ado Bayero as still the legitimate Emir of Kano. In the meantime, the deposed Emir of Kano, Aminu Ado Bayero, has broken his silence following his dethronement as the 15th Emir of Kano State. Bayero said justice would prevail while urging residents to maintain law and order. He stated this on Sunday at the mini palace where he has been since returning to the state after his dethronement. The deposed Emir, however, pledged to follow whatever the law states, saying Kano is too important to Nigeria. The Kano State Police Command says it will enforce the Federal High Court's order restraining the state's government from dissolving 5 emirates in the state. Kano State Police Commissioner Mohammed Hussein Gumel said this at the police headquarters in Bombay in Kano on Saturday. According to him, security agencies in the state have set out all machinery in place to ensure no breakdown of law and order. He also advised residents to remain calm and cooperate with security agencies as the matter will be addressed by the court on June 3, 2024. The Commissioner of Police added that any person found disrupting the peace in the state would be ruthlessly dealt with according to the law of the land.
The court order with suit number FHC/KN/CS/182/2024 dated 23rd May 2024, issued by the Federal High Court sitting in Kano alongside all law enforcement agents in the state. Therefore, we are calling on members of the public to know that the police in the state is working together with the military and other security agencies and are with full capacity for providing the adequate security to everyone, as we are committed to carrying out our statutory duties as provided by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. No doubt, the law-abiding people of Kano State are known for a revered cultural heritage and respect for constituted authority, and in this regard, advised to remain calm, patient, and to keep cooperating with security agencies, as the matter described will be addressed by the court on the 3rd of June.
Meanwhile, the power tussle in Kano has taken a different dimension as Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf has ordered the arrest of the immediate past Emir of Kano, Aminu Ado Bayero, over an alleged plot to create tension in the state. This was disclosed in a statement signed by Sanusi Bature Dawakin Tofa, the spokesperson to Governor Yusuf, and shared in a tweet by the Senior Special Assistant on Digital Media to the Governor on Saturday, May 25. And now joining us on the news to discuss this is Aliyu Musa, a political analyst in Kano State. Thank you so much, Musa, for joining us on the news.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. Good evening.
All right, good evening to you too. So we see the dusts being raised in Kano State due to the reinstatement of Muhammadu Sanusi II as the Emir of the kingdom as directed by Governor Abba Yusuf. No doubt there's a political undertone to it, but then how do you feel about how the past tussle has spiraled?
Yeah, thank you very much for that question. First of all, we must appreciate something. This is about high blood state in Nigeria, such that anything that happens there, if happens then the opponent Nigeria count. As much as we want to believe, the issue of enthronement across enthronement of monarchs actually play a significant role as far as the lives of an average Kano is concerned. No doubt, in Kano, they have what they call Kano to Binjiwa. To Binjiwa, that means Kano is a big chunk of an elephant. Meaning that it's made of both bad, good, and hot. So as we see,
Aliyu Musa, it's quite hard hearing you. The audio is quite terrible from your end. maybe there's something we can do from an end with our engineers, believing that they are going to be working on it to have a better audio quality from your end. But then we'll get back to you in a bit. In the meantime, let's now tell you that the administration of President Bola Tinubu, marking 1 year in office, will take a look at its collaboration with the National Assembly and how it has impacted on governance. And we bring this to you with our correspondent, Idong Joseph, on the reports.
Most distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen.
On May the 29th, 2023, President Bola Tinubu took over as Nigeria's 16th president, with much expectations to herald a new era for the country. The new government promised to work with the parliament, comprising the Senate and the House of Representatives, to bring good governance to citizens. A few weeks after the commencement of the 10th National Assembly, a leadership tussle ensued as the parliament sought to elect its leadership and principal officers. With the ruling All Progressives Congress in the majority, there were disagreements over the nomination of candidates by the party in both the Senate and the House of Representatives.
This will be a guide to you, and I hope you continue from where I left.
The preferred candidates of the president emerged in both chambers.
In a few weeks, we shall be meeting all the legislative agenda that will shape the 10th House of Representatives. We shall work closely and interdependently with the executive and judiciary to give Nigeria the good government they deserve.
Some supporters of the candidate said those elected as leaders will ensure a smooth relationship between the legislative and the executive arm of government. However, some critics think otherwise.
Every assembly have their style, depending on who is leading, But so far, so good. There seems to be tilted to the executive in this.
Another important event that played out in the course of the year was the nomination of cabinet members by the president, expected to be screened by the Senate. President Bola Tinubu nominated 45 ministerial nominees and forwarded the letter to the Senate for approval.
Congratulations on your nomination.
After several days of screening, 45 ministerial nominees were approved, with 3 candidates dropped.
Even if we are able to generate 13,000 megawatts today, our transmission infrastructure can only do 5,000, maybe 6,000 at best. So the second major constraint to electricity supply in Nigeria is the transmission infrastructure.
We have no choice but to give him that required support. And I can assure you, if I'm confirmed, in whatever capacity, Mr. President will not regret nominating me.
On the 29th of November 2023, President Bola Tinubu presented the 2024 budget to a joint session of the Parliament for approval. After weeks of dialogue with ministries, departments and agencies, the National Assembly finally approved the budget, however increasing the initial estimate of 27.5 trillion naira to 28.7 trillion naira. With the budget passed and signed by the president, work by the new government was expected to begin. However, several weeks after, a drama ensued as one member of parliament accused his colleagues of padding the budgets. This sparked counter-reactions as some other members of parliament accused the lawmaker of mischief and bringing the image of the Senate into disrepute.
Please, can you allow me to, Mr. President, perusing through the budget. First, we discover some bogus anomalies of repetition. We discovered some senatorial districts in this particular document. Some senatorial districts have up to 120 billion.
I told Ningi in here that he made a mistake, that he should stand up and apologize to us first, then apologize that, look, this even figure that I'm looking for 3 trillion is here.
Abdullahi Ningi was finally suspended for 3 months by the Senate, a decision that did not go well for many Nigerians. This, however, brought the issue of budget padding to a rest within the National Assembly.
Despite the fact that you have multiple number of political parties, opposition political parties. All of them appears to be quiet by force because of fear of lack of not getting, benefits or fear of being sanctioned.
The parliament then went into a recess to engage with members of their constituencies.
It is our duty to justify the trust vested in us by diligently addressing the challenges facing our nation and striving for the betterment of society.
For the 3 years left for the current administration, the expectation of most Nigerians is that the parliament will live up to its responsibilities and ensure that Nigerians reap the dividends of democracy. In Abuja for News Central, I am Idonk Joseph.
Nigerians no longer have to travel to the immigration office to obtain their passports, as home delivery of passports is set to begin in June. This development was announced by the Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, on Friday when he inspected the electronic gates at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport's new terminal in Abuja. He said the delivery would not include every location to avoid overloading and damaging of the system. The minister said the Nigerian Immigration Service would start home delivery in Lagos, Port Harcourt, Kano, and Abuja. He added that for Nigerians in the diaspora, the home delivery service would initially launch in the United States and the United Kingdom, with preliminary testing to ensure its effectiveness. In about 4 days from now, President Bola Tinubu would clock exactly 1 year in office. With several promises of making the country better, citizens are sharply divided on how the administration has fared in the last 365 days. And as we begin our special reports counting down to May 29, our correspondent Chiwe Ogele focuses on the power sector. Here's a report.
Power problem in Nigeria will be fully resolved in my time as the Minister of Power.
One thing that has bedeviled the energy sector in Nigeria is the billing method, which allows distribution companies demand and be paid by consumers even where there is no record of services rendered. It is called estimated billing.
You will all get your meters. You will know the actual amount you incurred. There will not be guesswork.
On paper, the campaign promises of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu looked fantastic and would have easily addressed the challenges in that sector if applied. But 12 months down the line, the government is merely scratching the surface of the manifesto.
We have not felt the effects. It's been power cuts, rolling power cuts, to the extent that even the little baby in this society has become accustomed to, power outages. It's not anything new.
Part of the promises of Mr. President include encouraging domestic manufacturing of prepaid meters, focusing on solar energy, increasing rural electrification, harnessing of gas resources to power, and improving the power sector governance reform. While the disconnect is inherent in the generation, transmission, and distribution, the different stages in the power sector value chain is being debated. Spending of successive governments in this sector runs into trillions of naira, yielding partial darkness as fruits. In Nigeria today, those who enjoy electricity to a reasonable level are those who have private arrangements on power supply and not dependent on the public source. The high cost of petrol further narrowed options available to individuals who seek alternative to the ever-crawling public power supply.
It's a very critical area of the economy, a very critical sector. What do you do without the light? And then this kind of haphazard approach. The other time they said they were bringing companies, Siemens from Germany and all that. You just hear these things, you hardly see the commensurate service.
Those at the receiving end in all of these are manufacturers, small and medium-scale business owners who spend a lot on power to still remain in business.
Power is in fact, all over Nigeria is a challenge. That's one major challenge. People in industry, production, even in businesses, that's the challenge they have in general.
It is very discouraging. It has not been stable. You can't plan on what you will do with electricity, because before you know it, is off.
I see it as being the same from the old times, and I think it's still the same till now. So they need to really work on it because, like I said earlier, each time they want to bring the bill or they want to serve you with that, they start bringing the light.
In June 2023, President Tinubu signed the electricity bill into law, enabling states, companies, and individuals to generate, transmit, and distribute electricity. But ever since, state governments have been reluctant to venture into this. A major positive in this sector since 2023, however, is that a private firm, after more than 2 decades, finally began distribution of electricity in Abaring area. This year, instead of metering houses and buildings as promised, Nigerians were greeted with a proposal for a tariff increment, but has now been suspended after the outrage by citizens.
We will not accept it. I said we will not accept it. We will not accept it.
A few days ago, the president approved the payment of 3.3 trillion naira being debts owed generating and gas companies. Many believe there is a fundamental error with the sector that has held it down for decades. They say government needs the will to confront the elephant in the room.
Now there's the law that unbundles electricity generation. Why can't state governments, envision, look, we can build a power plant and run it to supply power to our state and even sell.
Countries all over the world depend on different sources to generate energy for their citizens, with gas being the most sourced. With abundance of gas, Nigeria is also endowed with extra resources such as coal, solar, and uranium. Yet the situation has remained appalling.
We are not even maximizing the benefits of the natural resources we have. Why should we not have electricity in Nigeria? Look at the natural resources. Look at the coal in Enugu. It's not been touched. Coal was used to generate electricity during the colonial days. Look at the gas that were flaring across the Niger Delta, the southeast and the south-south. That is energy in one form that can be converted to another form, electricity.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu still has the opportunity, at least within 3 years, to write his name in gold by being the only man who did what others before him couldn't do, by ensuring that power is not just available and stable, but also affordable to citizens. In Omar Hefoni Central, Chinwe Ugele.
We'll now tell you that hundreds of activists on Saturday stormed the streets of Lagos to protest what they called underground moves by some desperate opposition figures in Kogi State, as well as other perceived political enemies, to unleash terror on the immediate past governor of the state, Yahaya Bello, using the platform of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. The activists, who addressed a press conference and also staged a rally, condemned calls by a group called Zero Corruption Agenda in collaboration with another group, Kogites United Against Corruption, for the FCC to ignore court orders guaranteeing Bello's fundamental human rights and effect an arrest despite the ongoing court process. According to them, many Nigerians already suspect that the alleged endless attack on the former governor, his family members, and even innocent children by the EFCC in the most unprofessional way, despite revelations that showed it was actually protected by the law, have deep political undertones.
There was a rally or a protest where some people, some sponsors, some hoodlums, thugs picked on the street of Lagos yesterday, calling upon the EFCC to use military force as if Yahaya Bello is now the new Boko Haram that we have in the country, to go and arrest an individual, somebody that has been given a court order, a court of jurisdiction has given an order that, look, you cannot tamper on this person or infringe on this person's rights. We are here this afternoon to say, look, this thing cannot continue to stand. We cannot say because we don't like you. We are not saying the EFCC should not do their job. What we are only saying is that do your job, but we have to obey the rule of law. We are not in monkey or zoo or banana.
In another development, the national chairman of the Labour Party, Julius Abure, has been suspended from the party in Ward 3 in the Ari-Romi in Essan's northeast local government area of Edo State for alleged high-handedness and anti-party activities. a letter of suspension dated May 14, 2024, and another letter of ratification dated May 15, 2024, both of which were ratified at a meeting of the State Executive Committee on Friday night in Benin, stated that the suspension is with immediate effect. He advised Abure to stop holding out or parading himself as a member of the party. The letter of suspension was signed by the Ward Chairman Thompson Ihegwese and Board Secretary Stanley Usiomo. And now to health matters. Nurses in Nigeria's capital, Abuja, have called for the declaration of a state of emergency in the health sector. This follows the recent revelation by some nurses in the country that the health sector lacks a verified and reliable database of registered nurses, thereby affecting citizens' access to health care in the country and promoting quackery. Some of the nurses took to the streets of the capital a few weeks ago, where they called for lawmakers to intervene in the issues concerning the verification of nurses mandated by the Nurses and Midwifery Council, a situation they say is affecting their performance and professional development. They say the closure of the verification portal by the council has become a source for concern and urged the federal government to compel the council to reopen the portal so that verification can continue. To discuss this now, we are joined by Alexis Isioma, a nurse from Abuja, who will be giving us more details on this development. Thank you so much for joining us, Alexis, on the news.
Thank you very much for having me. Good evening.
Okay, so I'd like to quickly find out from you, what is the impending situation as regards the lack of verification portal or a database for nurses in Nigeria? What are the attending issues and how would that affect your profession in the country?
Thank you very much for that. First of all, I would like to talk about verification. So the government and even the NMCN, they have swayed away from the actual reason why nurses are being verified to using that as a means of stopping nurses from going out to practice. That's the JAPA syndrome. Okay. So verification generally it's also the fundamental right of every common man on the streets. Why did I say so? If the verification portal is made open for everyone to access, you'll be able to access who is giving you care within minutes. And the issues of death would be reduced to the barest minimum. Like in the case of Mohbad, if they had access to verify who was giving them care as at that time, I'm very sure that death would have been averted at that very moment.
So the portal has been closed since when?
The portal has been closed since November last year. Until now, nobody has been verified.
And that is also affecting the issue of not having a credible database for nurses. Basically, is that what it means? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so
I think,
yeah, you were going to say something.
Yeah. One thing they don't understand about this whole verification thing is it's the rights of everyone. Okay? Nurses do not carry their license about. But if the data is made open and easy for everyone on the street, like you just log into your Facebook, you log into your WhatsApp, and you can easily chat up somebody. It should be made that easy, that you log in a nurse's name, and the database there shows, okay, this nurse is either licensed to practice or this is a quack. Then at that moment, you run for your life. But now, you cannot even differentiate from who a quack is or who a registered nurse is. Then everybody is at risk. It might not have happened to anybody. Definitely, it have not happened to anybody directly. But one day, it will definitely happen to somebody. And maybe by then, it will be very late to turn back the hands of time. And that is why we are still appealing to the House of Rep that they should help us open up the verification portal.
Okay, so we hope that it will not get to that point, to that irreparable point. But then, of course, 2 weeks ago, just as you have said, a peaceful protest walk was conducted by nurses to the National Assembly. Now, a couple of issues were raised by the nurses, including the issue around database and portal. Have those issues been addressed? Is there anything that has been done?
Okay, as we speak now, nothing has been done, but the House of Rep has put a public hearing for 28. So hopefully we are hoping that we have a good outcome on that day. And this issue is not just swept under the carpet and nurses are left to just wallow away in their pains.
So if a state of emergency is declared on the health sector, what do you think that will solve? What are the chronic fundamental challenges that you think that might actually address?
Okay, so if a state of emergency is raised, I think even the people in the public will also raise an alarm and let it not just be the nurses shouting about it. That everybody living on the street, we know that, okay, their life is at risk and they will help also raise a voice so that this issue will be addressed and addressed on time.
Before I let you go, Isioma, I'd like to quickly find out, because you talked about the Japa syndrome at that particular time. Do you think it is nice? Because, of course, we have brain drain in the country, and we understand what the situation is in the country as regards remuneration and welfare and a working condition, a good working condition for medical practitioners. But do you think it is wise and nice for medical practitioners like you to leave the country knowing that the country is faced with a whole lot of challenges, a lot of people are sick, and of course there's a need to tackle that, and we don't have enough practitioners or medical personnel to attend to the number of patients or people who are sick in the country?
Yeah, the question should be that are the healthcare professionals or the nurses that are being trained, are they duly employed? That should be the question. We have so many employed nurses, and yet the few that are employed cry out for brain drain. There is no shortage of nurses. Rather, they are not employing nurses. If you go to private hospitals, you see most of them, they use their nurses, the auxiliaries they train and call them nurses, and putting the life of the common man, the public, at stake. Because most of these high and mighty, they don't utilize these hospitals. That is why we want the public to know that it is their right, not just because the nurses are crying out for this whole verification, it is also their right to verify who is giving them care. So the Japa syndrome, if they really want to curb that, they should ask these people, what do they want? Is there a good environment for them to practice? Are they being well remunerated? Are they even being well recognized? That should be the question.
Okay, Alexis Isioma, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us.
Thank you very much.
All right. Moving on now, the Ijaw Youth Council has condemned the devastating gas explosion that occurred at the Shell gas plant in Bahrain, Yanagwa local government area of Bayelsa State. The incident has led to significant environmental damage, killing major aquatic habitats. According to a resident in the community, the blast was traced to a pipeline attacked by suspected vandals, leading to an explosion and release of thick smoke and gaseous emission. However, the national spokesman of the Ijaw Youth Council believes that this position is baseless. The Ijaw Youth Council threatens legal action over Shell's gas explosion, holding Shell accountable for the impact of the multiple gas explosions and its impact on their communities.
Actually, since oil was discovered in the Bangladesh Petiama, so there is no, let me say, there is no empowerment. So all these things that is happening, we are calling on SPDC. Let them mount. At least we need a surveillance. Something like this has never happened before. So we are calling on them. At least let them do something.
Result of equipment failure that has led to this explosion that have destroyed our economic trees, and at the river you can see that the fishes are dead, floating, rotting, and the rest of it. So it's a serious effect. If this thing can affect the life that are living within this environment, that means human beings around too are not also safe. So we are calling on the multinational, especially SPDC that's operating this our environment, to take responsibility and see how they can be able to cushion the effect of this explosion to make sure that the people are safe in this environment. We are calling on them to come and take charge and take responsibility of what they have done as a result of the equipment failure and see that they bring the necessary relief materials to the communities that are impacted and clean the environment so that we can also live safely in this place and their business too can move safely and effectively.
The issue of vandalism has never occurred in this area. I listened keenly to the spokesman of SPDC who said it's suspected vandalism, that has caused this explosion. I can say it without fear or favor, for free, that since the inception of discovery of oil and gas in this territory, there have not been any incidents of vandalism. So it cannot start today. This is not an issue of vandalism. This is an issue of equipment failure. This is an issue of obsolete equipment that the IYC has been crying for justice over the years. Over the years, we have been singing this rhetorically as victim to say that the equipment that SPDCs and other multinationals are using in the Niger Delta are obsolete.
Many thanks for staying with us. Now, Dahua Technology, a world-leading video-centric A-lot solution and service provider, has introduced its latest artificial intelligence-powered products to the Nigerian markets with a focus to improve road safety, optimize traffic operations, and contribute to sustainable urban development. The technology giant is set to lead breakthroughs in its technological innovation, collaborate with world partners, and contribute to smarter, safer, greener, and more sustainable urban traffic systems. Definitely we'll bring you more details about the story later on the news. I will believe that you'll be part of it. In the meantime, we take you to West Africa, where a two-day national dialogue began in Burkina Faso on Saturday as the nation seeks a return to civilian rule amid ongoing insurgency, according to a message from the junta chief, Captain Ibrahim Traore, and read by Minister Emily Zerbo. The country has a date with history. Zerbo emphasized unity to protect the country's future. The military has ruled since 2022 following two coups, citing security issues. Insurgencies by Al-Qaeda and ISIS have caused thousands of deaths and displaced millions since 2015. An initial dialogue established Traore as president and set a 21-month transition to civilian rule expiring July 1. This weekend's talks include civil society, security forces, and lawmakers, but political party participation remains certain. We now head to South Africa, where the ruling African National Congress staged its last major stadium rally on Saturday ahead of next week's election, fighting to restore its glory and protect its unbeaten streak of post-apartheid victories. President Ramaphosa's party summoned the faithful and bossed in the undecided to fill more than two-thirds of the 90,000-seat FNB stadium between Johannesburg and Soweto, and gave his re-election bid some buzz. Wednesday's votes may mark the first time since South Africa became a democracy that late leader Nelson Mandela's party fails to seize an absolute majority. Up against 51 opposition parties, Ramaphosa still expects to lead the biggest single bloc in the National Assembly, but if he falls below 50%, he may struggle to build a coalition of members of parliament to re-elect him. Earlier, News Central's correspondent Bongani Siziba, who witnessed the rally, spoke to us on this development.
According to his speech, he told his supporters that they should go out and vote in their numbers, and he's expecting to retain more than 3/3 majority for the next 5 years. ANC is going to rule. That was the president's words talking to his supporters. But quite a hype afternoon here at the Orlando National Sports Stadium, where ANC supporters filled the 95-seater stadium here, where the president was addressing them. And among the key priorities that he mentioned, the implementation of the NHI Health bill that he signed a few days ago. He also said that it will be implemented in stages. He also spoke about the shortcomings that the ANC have done over the 5 years. He also spoke about the corruption that is within the ANC and also the governing party, not shying away of their shortcomings, but also asking the supporters that they might do better come the next 5 years if they bring them back, or rather vote them back into power. He also spoke about ending the load shedding. We know South Africa has been battling with load shedding and also water shortages. So he also spoke about that, that if they return into power, the governing party is going to make sure that there is load shedding, the load shedding ends rather, and also the electricity, the citizens will also get the electricity. And also I was also speaking to some of his supporters, and what I've realized is that most of the supporters that are here are young, the youth. We know that the unemployment rate in South Africa is so high. So I've been asking them that 5 years to come, the unemployment rate in South Africa, are you going to vote ANC again? Most of them are saying they are going to vote ANC because it's better the devil that they know than those ones that they don't know.
Earlier on the news, we told you that Dahua Technology, a world-leading video-centric A-lot solution and service provider, has introduced its latest artificial intelligence-powered products to the Nigerian market. Neo Money tells us more in this report.
CCTV cameras have become a common sight in Nigeria, with businesses, public places, and even homes adopting the security technology. However, many of the CCTV systems in use are basic and unable to fully meet security needs. These may change with the growing presence of Dahua Technology, a Chinese company that specializes in video surveillance and security solutions.
Year past year, Dahua is growing. And we have more and more friends, more and more partners, distributors, sellers, system integrators, all the friends helping us to get more projects, get more business, and helping this country to developing the safety and video safety surveillance industry.
We can support them in doing a survey. Now, in this survey, we are going to look at what is this customer requirement, and this requirement will tailor it to suit their needs, be it a small business or an enterprise project. Like in Nigeria, we have a lot of projects we have been able to execute, like the Lekki Deep Sea Port, like the Post Square building.
Displaying a diverse range of its solutions, tailored on harnessing digital innovations to address the evolving challenges of urban mobility, the Dahua's systems offers advanced features such as facial recognition and crowd analysis, using energy-saving solutions and artificial intelligence.
Artificial intelligence for us is one of our core strengths, because we believe that when you have a security solution and you don't have a solution for it, a security problem and you don't have a solution for it, it means that the problem will linger on. But we believe with technology and our AI features, those challenges can actually be addressed.
Those products you can see on the table, those products are our new products. We call them the wireless camera. You don't need to use a wire for the camera. You don't need cables to connect it. So it's our new product, and I want people to know that this is available in Nigeria.
All these cameras comes in different series. We have the Wavesense series, the Wavemind series, and as well as even the thermal cameras, as well as even the anti-explosive cameras, which all these cameras can be applicable in different industries.
Statistics shows that Nigeria loses about 15% of its GDP yearly to insecurity. With over 200 million citizens, Nigeria has one of the world's largest security surveillance needs. If properly deployed, Dahua's AI technology could potentially help save lives and protect assets worth billions of dollars. The globally acceptance of smart security solutions may also create job opportunities for Nigerian tech professionals in areas like AI development, data analytics, and cybersecurity.
They are also passionate about, empowering Nigerian youth in terms of acquiring CCTV skills and, and technology, so that, after undergoing such training, they can stand alone and become an entrepreneur.
the Huas Technologies venture into the Nigerian market with AI-powered security solutions could be a game changer for the country's security surveillance, while also creating economic benefit through technology transfer and jobs. In Lagos for News Central, Ni Omoni.
A bit of sports now. Norway's Kasper Ruud will face Novak Djokovic's conqueror Thomas Machak in the Geneva Open final later on Saturday after seeing off a strong challenge from Flavio Cobolli in the semis. Second seed Ruud, the world number 7, is at home in the Swiss clay court tournament, having won the Geneva title in 2021 and 2022. He beat Italy's informed Cobolli 1-6, 6-1, 7-6, that's 7/4 in a roller coaster match on the Parc d'Yves clay. The contest between two-time French Open runner-up Ruud and Cobolli, who is on a career-high ranking of 56, was meant to take place on Friday evening, but was called off due to persistent rain. And that's all on the news at this hour. But before we go, quickly take a look at some of our top stories. The Post Emir Bayero breaks silence, says justice will prevail as police set to enforce court order stopping dissolution of Emirates. Activists say Kogi opposition behind Yahya Bello saga. Finally, we told you that Burkina Faso has commenced a national dialogue to chart a path to civilian rule. Don't forget to send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number and email on your screen. Do follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can also watch News Central live on DSTV, channel 422, Star Times, channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Lekon Onobanjo.